learners, welcome to our Environmental Science Senior Secondary course of NIOS. In our previous program, we have already discussed about modern agriculture, which includes process of processing food, feed, fiber and cultivation of certain plants and raising of domesticated animal. So today there is a great demand to promote sustainable agriculture. There is lesson 21, concept of sustainable agriculture of module 6, sustainable development. I am Neelam Gupta, course coordinator of environmental science. Welcome to you in this program. Look at the figure. As we know that primitive humans discovered agriculture about 12,000 years ago. Primitive hunters and gatherers moved to place near rivers. Once humans knew that watering plant is necessary to grow plants, look at the left side figure. Hunting and gathering primitive humans learned to become farmers. Such human settlements begin farming. Gradually, more humans settled away from rivers and watered their growing crops with water from wells, tube wells and other means of withdrawing groundwater. However, result of farming depended largely on rains during monsoon. Right side figure shows a farmer praying rain god. Now, come to the objective of the program are relate changing human needs with overuse of environment, need for enhancing quality of environment, define sustainable agriculture and justify its need, describe concept and methods of sustainable agriculture, explain about organic farming and its benefits, describe the methods of preparing vermicompost, explain biofertilizer and their use in agriculture, explain integrated waste management and GMOs and its related issues. Now come to human needs and overuse environment. Human population are growing rapidly throughout the world. Almost half of the population live in densely populated urban areas. Rural population migrate to urban areas in search of job, food, housing and a better lifestyle, and also impact on agriculture as well as environment. Now come to the need for enhanced quality of environment. This huge population puts a tremendous pressure on resources, the high rate of consumption of resources and high waste rate. As expansion of cities, croplands, forest, wetland and wild habitat destroyed, so there is a great need to improve the situation so that humans can enjoy a quality environment. We do deserve a healthy environment to survive and lead a good life. Now come to the advent of modern agriculture. After World War II, food and fiber were raised by new technology, thus began modern agriculture. Use of new machines and implements for agriculture, use of fertilizers and pesticides, expansion of irrigation facilities resulted in enough food for fast growing population. Now come to the impact of modern agriculture on environment. Population increased, more food needed, more farm used, agriculture grow more food, but many adverse effects on environment and unemployment of farm laborers. Come to the impact on environment. Deforestation to get land for agriculture, topsoil depletion, soil pollution. Another one, groundwater contamination, polluted water, unemployment of farm laborers migrating from villages to cities, resulting in urbanization and its problems. Next slide shows different tools and implements and expansion of irrigation facilities. Now come to the sustainable agriculture. So slogan of last 2 decades, promote not modern agriculture but sustainable agriculture to save the environment for future generations. So next question arises, what is sustainable agriculture and sustainable agriculture for whom? Sustainable agriculture or sustainable farming attempts to produce sufficient food, exhausting soil fertility and damaging environment. It is to be least toxic farmland and least energy intensive in operation and get maintain productivity and profitability. grow sufficient food and retain soil quality for many subsequent generations to grow food. Now, how does sustainable agriculture achieve? So, answer is, it can be achieved by various ways, that is, protect and preserve environmental quality, use natural resources judiciously, decrease dependence on non-renewable energy resources, provide consumers with affordable, high quality foodstuff, support profitable agriculture production, enhance quality of life of farmers and rural population, last for many generations. Now come to the methods of sustainable agriculture, that will be mixed cropping or diverse cropping, crop rotation, multiple cropping. While planning these approaches, one has to be kept in mind local geography and topography, nature and condition of soil, local climate and local inputs, and farmer's goal. Now, we will discuss objectives of sustainable agriculture. Cultivation practices to increase biological and economic stability, selection of improved varieties to suit the need, soil management by proper method of tillage. Many farmers in India and other developing countries follow the traditional practices of mixed cropping or diverse cropping and crop rotation. First, we will take mixed cropping or diverse cropping is an old practice in India. In this method, two or more crops are grown on the same piece of land and at the same time. This removes the insecurity of total crop failure. When more than one crop is grown, at least one will survive, if not all. Of the two crops grown together, one is a long duration crop and other are short duration crop. Nutrients required by the two crops is different, time of maturity is different. Generally, leguminous crop is grown with a main crop, so nitrogen gets fixed and there is no need for fertilizer, it saves costs. Other plants for mixed cropping can be polyvarietal cultivation, that is, several varieties of same crop grown together. Now, next is intercropping. Different crops, that is, one leguminous crop which fixes nitrogen, other carbohydrate rich crop which uses soil nitrogen. Plants maturing at different times are grown together, needs different, so less inputs needed. Natural predators control pests, so no pesticides needed. Compared to monoculture, yield per hectare much more. Now, what is monoculture? It is a cultivation of single crop on large scale which gives large yield but for a short period of time. It is expensive as lots of fertilizers and pesticides are needed. So, not only monoculture is economically unsound but also environmentally harmful. Next is crop rotation. Growing different crops in succession regularly in the same field result control insects and diseases, increase soil fertility, decreases soil erosion. Monoculture of high yield single crop exhaust totally. One, certain minerals yield remain utilization. This results in nutrient imbalance of the soil and encourages certain pests and diseases. Sowing a leguminous crop as a rotational crop is very useful because legumes enhance nitrogen level in the soil due to their ability to fix atmospheric nitrogen, reduces the need for chemical nitrogen fertilizer, thereby cutting the cost and saving the soil from the harmful effects of using high yielding varieties along with the application of large amount of fertilizers, pesticides and water. It is possible to grow 2 or sometimes 3 different crops in succession on the same land within a year is known as multiple cropping. This practice can go on for some time, but the land cannot maintain high yield in a long run. Crop rotation takes into account the factors. First, leguminous crop should be grown after non-leguminous crop. Crop requires less water should be grown after one that requires more water. Third, crops requiring less manure should be sown after one that require more manures. Important crop patterns of crop rotation as shown in this slide. First, green gram, wheat and moong. Second, groundnut, wheat and moong. Third, arhar, sugarcane, wheat and moong. Fourth, paddy, wheat and moong. Mixed cropping when coupled with livestock rearing has many advantages. Some land area can be used or crop or grown on one level and steeper slope. If pasture and leguminous forage crops are rotated, soil quality is enhanced. Livestock manure make soil fertile. In case of rainfall, at least livestock provided milk takes marketing of multiple products easy, cushions for farmers against price fluctuation, farm labor gets utilized more effectively. Now come to the soil management. A healthy soil is a key component of sustainable agriculture. That is, healthy soil along with water and nutrient produces healthy crop plants that are less susceptible to pests and diseases. Accordingly, soil must be protected and nurtured to ensure long-term productivity and stability. Methods of protection include using cover crops, compost, reducing tillage, conserving soil moisture by dead mulches. This increases water hold capacity of the soil. Significant improvement in crop production has been achieved by using the conventional method of selection and plant breeding. Now, objectives of varietal improvement are development of high yielding varieties of crop plants, food crops developed for better and higher nutritional quality like protein quality in pulses, baking quality in wheat, preserving quality in fruits and vegetables, oil quality in oilseed producing plants, developmental of crop varieties, resistance to disease and pest, improving varieties for resistance against heat, cold, frost, drought and waterlogging. Now come to the biofertilizer and its uses in agriculture. Biofertilizers are substitutes for chemical fertilizers such as NPK. Their use reduces energy expenditure required to manufacture fertilizers. They do not cause pollution. Microorganisms like bacteria, algae and fungi fix atmospheric nitrogen that can be soluble as phosphorus, decompose organic material, or oxidize sulfur in soil, enhance growth and yield of crops, improve soil fertility. Some of the important types of biofertilizers which can be considered for agro-based industries are Rhizobium, Azotobacterium, Azolla, blue-green algae, etc. First, Rhizobium. It is a symbiotic bacteria and form root nodules in leguminous plants and live there. They can fix atmospheric nitrogen up to 200 kg nitrogen per hectare per year. Surplus nitrogen remains in soil and enhance soil quality. Next is Azotobacteria. These are aerobic fixed living nitrogen fixing bacteria, grow around roots of cereals and fix nitrogen, produce growth promoting hormones which helps in enhancing growth and yield of plants. Next is Azospirillum. Aerobic fixed living nitrogen fixing bacteria, associate symbiotic bacteria, live on root surface of host plant and increase crop yield, supplying growth hormones and vitamins, commonly used in commercial inoculation. Next is blue-green algae. Nostoc and Anabina are common blue-green algae or cyanobacteria. Free-living and photosynthetic, they fix nitrogen, used in flooded rice fields as nitrogen biofertilizers. Next is azula. It is a water fund inside which grows nitrogen fixing BGA anabina. Azula and anabina combined is used as fertilizer in all over the world. It grows in summer. Next is phosphorus solubilizing biofertilizers. Phosphorus is needed for plant growth, also for nodule formation in rhizobium. Certain microbes solubilize phosphorus and make it available for plants to absorb. Now we will discuss mycorrhiza, fungi that occur on roots of forest trees and crop plants. In soils low in available nutrients, there is an increased absorption of nutrients by plants infected by mycorrhiza. The fungus has the ability to dissolve and absorb phosphorus that plant roots cannot readily absorb. Now come to the organic farming and its benefit. Organic matter is what living organisms are made of. Hence, organic farming in agriculture relying on crop rotation, crop residue, animal manure, legume, clean manure, organic waste and biofertilizers, mechanical cultivation, mineral bearing crops, biological pest and weed control. In other words, organic farming does not use any chemicals or artificial substance for agriculture. Agricultural products for organic farming are grain, dairy products, poultry products, cotton and jute fibers, flowers, etc. Thus, organic farming creates a sustainable lifestyle for generations to come. Now come to the method of organic farming. Nourishing microbes in soil to provide its nutrients. Soil organic matter gives the soil good structure and water holding capacity. Organic farmers grow these microbes and add compost and biological based soil nutrients so that plants grown in organic farm are disease and pest resistant. Organic farmers use crop rotation to enrich soil continuously and keep away pests. Prefer specific crops to keep pests away. Predators are used. Mating is disrupted and traps and barriers are used. Now come to the benefits of organic farming. It can be learnt easily by farmer, reduce production cost as expensive fertilizers and pesticides not used, reduces soil erosion up to 50%, increase crop yield 5-fold. In lowland, organic farms can support wildlife as the animal can roam in pastures and graze. Entire ecosystem along with groundwater is improved. Dairies benefits as the cattle are fed organic feed and grazes on organic fields. These cattle are more healthy and give tasty milk. Soil remains healthy with living microbes that provide the soil with micronutrients. Soil gets inexhaustible nutrients for many generations of crops grown in the organic field. Quality of products enhanced as they are free from harmful chemicals, artificial flavors, colors and preservatives. Now come to the advantages of intense farming and organic farming. In short, advantages of intensive farming are bigger yields from land available, fewer workers needed, use of hormone increases, meat production, large numbers of animals kept in ideal conditions, produce is cheaper, fewer blemishes on crops, and organic farming, soil structure is better, less harmful to environment, no harmful chemicals, healthier, more birds, insects and animals lead happier lives. Now come to the vermicompost. Vermicompost can be prepared at the backyard of your home, in one corner to your school field or maybe public park, which will produce manure as well as clean up the environment from garbage accumulation. Vermicomposting efficiently recycles organic waste, crop residues and agro-industrial waste, earthworms and microbes, includes bacteria and fungi, together turn organic waste into useful organic manure. Now, we would like to talk about organic materials that can be required for vermicompost. It can be agricultural residue, dry organic waste, waste vegetables, soya bean residues, weeds, sugarcane trash, sericulture residue from silk production, animal manures, dairy and poultry waste, food industry waste, municipal solid waste, biogas sludge, veggies from sugarcane factories. Now come to the steps in making vermicompost. Build or purchase worms from your vermicompost bin. Prepare the worm bedding, moisten the bedding, add a handful of soil to the bedding, add the worms to the vermicompost bin, add food scraps to the bin, remove the worms when the compost is done, harvest the vermicompost, replace the bedding and reintroduce the worms. Now, next is integrated pest management. Farmers develop a control program that includes cultivation, biological and chemical methods applied in proper sequence with the proper timing. The aim of IPM is not to eradicate the pest population completely, but to keep the crop damage to economically tolerable level. Farmers monitor the field, and when they find the pest level to be high enough, they first use biological methods and cultivation practices to control, and then use small amounts of insecticides, mostly insecticides derived from plants, as a last resort. Biological controls include natural predator, parasites and pathogens of the pest are used. Examples are: first, pest on cucumber plant called red spider mite is controlled by using a predatory mite that fed on red spider mite. Second, citrus fruits in California heavily damaged by scale insects, which were controlled by Australian ladybird, which are Aveda insects. Mealybug pest of cassava plant were controlled by a parasitoid wasp, which was its natural enemy. Hormones are used that disrupt the insect's normal life cycle, thereby preventing it from reaching maturity and reproducing and multiplying. Now come to the biotechnology in agriculture. Modern agriculture ushered in green revolution with hybrid seeds, fertilizers, pesticides and improvement in agriculture practices. Genetic engineering or recombinant DNA technology brought in second green revolution with genetically modified GM crops or transgenic crops or GMOs. Transgenic crops have been produced with the following aims: crop resistance to herbicides, crop resistance to insects and diseases, atmospheric nitrogen fixation by cereal crops, tolerance to high salt soil and to flooding in crops, drought resistance in crop, improving nutritional quality of crops, prolonging shelf life of fruits and vegetables. So, some important examples of transgenics or GMOs are: Bt cotton, produced by incorporating Bt gene which encodes for Bt toxins in the cotton plant. The plant becomes insect resistant, and this gene has been incorporated in brinjal, corn, potato, tomato, tobacco, etc., making them insect resistant. Such plants can reduce our dependence on chemical pesticides, which will save us money and our environment. Golden rice, a transgenic with enhanced vitamin A content, producing nutritionally rich rice to save many lives. Salt and Flood tolerance genes have been incorporated in rice so that BT rice in China shows higher yield and a huge reduction in pesticides use. Such rice can be grown on saline soil. Next is by slowing down and controlling ripening in tomato by introducing a bacterial genes that prevents ethylene formation, thus delaying ripening. Such tomatoes are easy to handle during transportation and remains on the shelf for a long time. Cold damage to crop plants can be minimized by introducing genes for antifreeze proteins found in the blood of Arctic fishes. Frost resistant tomatoes has been produced by introducing genes for antifreeze proteins from polar fish living in ice water. Plant biotechnology can help to make intensive agriculture less damaging to environment as well as help the country to spend less money on fertilizers, pesticides and herbicides. Now come to benefits and controversies on GM products. First we will take benefits for crops: enhanced taste and quality, reduced maturation time, increased nutrients yield and stress tolerance, improved resistance to disease, pest and herbicides, new products and growing techniques. Benefits for animals: increased resistance, productivity, hardness and feed efficiency, better yield of meat, eggs and milk, improved animal health and diagnostic methods. For environment: friendly bioherbicides and bioinsecticides, conservation of soil, water and energy, bioprocessing for forestry products, better natural waste management, more efficient processing. Benefits for society: increased food security for growing populations. Now come to the controversies. First, safety, potential human health impact, that means allergens, transfer of antibiotic resistance markers, unknown effects, potential environmental impact, that is unintended transfer of transgenes through cross pollination, unknown effects on other organisms and loss of flora and fauna biodiversity. Next, access and intellectual property, domination of world food production by a few companies, increasing dependence on industrialized nations by developing countries, biopiracy, that is foreign exploitation of natural resources. Now, next is ethics, violation of natural organisms' intrinsic values, tampering with nature by mixing genes among species, objections to transferring animal genes in plants and vice versa, stress for animals. Labeling not mandatory in some countries, for example, United States, mixing GM crops with non-GM confounds labeling attempts. For society, new advances may be skewed to interests of rich countries. Before we wrap up, we would like to recap the main points, that is what you have learned. Sustainable agriculture systems are those that are least toxic and least energy consuming, yet maintain productivity and profitability. Agricultural practices like crop rotation, intercropping, polyculture and proper soil management with mulches and cover crops to maintain soil moisture are integral part of sustainable agriculture. Biofertilizers are the plant nutrients of biological origin like algae, bacteria, fungi, which have no harmful effect on soil and environment. Organic farming is a type of agriculture which avoids synthetic inorganic fertilizers, pesticides, growth regulators and livestock feed additives. Organically grown food products are free from harmful chemicals or typical flavors and preservatives. Vermicompost can be prepared at the backyard of your home in one corner of your school field or maybe in public park, which will produce manure as well as clean up the environment from garbage accumulation. Integrated pest management is a grand idea to control pests and diseases. This increases production, saves the environment from pollution and harmful effect of pesticides, and save money, which is usually spent on buying pesticides. Biotechnology technique is used to produce plants by gene transfer, which can be a direct answer to grow plants resistant to diseases, pests, tolerant to cold, drought and flooding, etc. One can design a plant to suit this condition. So, dear learners, this is all about lesson 21, concept of sustainable agriculture. We will come again to meet you with a new program of environmental science. Thank you.